Hey y'all. The following video contains Steven's picks for the best and worst films of 2013. Please keep in mind that this list is completely opinion. At no point should you really get upset about what films are and are not on this list. So, enjoy. What you're going to see today are my honest opinions for my favorite films of 2013. What you're not going to see on this list today: The Wolf of Wall Street, American Hustle, 12 Years a Slave. I just want to point out that about 4 years ago I did a best and worst of 2009. I got a lot of shit for my picks, especially for including Avatar as a dishonorable mention.
The movie was boring as all hell. It was too goddamn long, boring.
And because of that video, I chose to not continue doing the best and worst of films. So this year I've decided to go ahead and do it, say fuck everyone else. This is my best and worst of 2013. Number 10. I'm not a big fan of remakes. Went and saw it, midnight showing, first night, and I hated it. I just had a bad theater experience. When the movie came out, I was like, you know what, I want to give it another shot because it seemed like a movie I was going to like. Watched it, blown away. Couldn't believe how great it was. Number 9! A film that I thought I was going to like from the trailer, and I did. It's great. It's really funny. It just goes on and on and on with all this humor. I think the movie overall was really great. Number 8.
Why did you take it from us? Brick, you're not dead. I'm alive. Yes. Yeah. I'm alive.
This is Linda. Oh, black. Black.
Bronze.
Black.
The first Anchorman was a classic, the most quotable movie I can think of. I built up the hype so much, the producers built up the hype so much, it was ridiculous. So when I went to see it, I didn't think I was going to like it. Actually, the movie's hilarious. And believe it or not, I'd love to see another Anchorman. Number 7.
Great wizard from Kansas, I've waited for you to come and set things right. You're capable of more than you know. Help!
A film that looked like Alice in Wonderland, a more epic film. I think James Franco was actually a pretty good choice. Rachel Weisz and Mila Kunis did a really good job in their roles. It connects with Wizard of Oz. I think the movie was a lot of fun. Number 6, Pick Up Sticks.
Lesson number 1. Heroes. There is no such thing.
This is a film that I really enjoyed. I'm not a comic book fan. I don't read comic books, here and there and all that like a lot of people do. And I heard a lot of people kind of bash Iron Man 3 because of the portrayal of, I cannot remember the villain's name, the Mandolin, I believe his name was. He wasn't portrayed correctly, and that Ben Kingsley was kind of goofy and stupid and stuff like that. And the way the movie ends, I'm not going to give it away, but it kind of puts an end to Iron Man. People didn't like that. If you're a comic book fan, you're not going to like comic book movies. It's pretty much that simple. You're not going to like comic book movies if you're a comic book fan, because nobody is ever going to do the films justice, the comic books justice, I should say. As a non-comic book fan, as a film lover, I thought the film was entertaining. I thought it held my attention. I thought it was a cool little ending to the 3 Iron Man movies. 5 golden rings.
I cannot allow you to do this.
Jim, you're not actually going after this guy, are you? I'm sorry. No ship should go down without her captain.
In 2009, Star Trek, the first one, was actually my #1 movie of the year. For a good few months, maybe 5-6 months. Star Trek Into Darkness was my #1 movie. A lot of fun. I thought the film, even though people didn't like the whole remake of The Wrath of Khan, and they didn't like the fact that certain things were changed and this and that, I thought the film was really great. Entertaining, it was fun, it was exciting, it was an adventure. I think the Star Trek movies, J.J. Abrams, doing a great job. Hopefully J.J. Abrams can do just as well with Star Wars, because he's got a lot to live up to.
#4.
They think I'm weird.
Carrie, favorite poem? Did you bring one?
Things move. I've been asked to prom.
Okay, #4 is probably the one movie on my top 10 that people are really going to bitch about. This film was my most anticipated film of the year. I've never liked a Carrie adaptation. I didn't like the original one. I don't care. Sue me. I didn't like the 2002 version. But there's something about the story that I wanted. It seemed like I wanted to like it. So when this new one came out, I was like, you know what? I got to see this because I have a feeling I'm going to like it. I want to give it another shot. I was like, Hollywood, this is your last chance. I loved it. I don't care what anybody says. The film, even though it was basically the same thing as the original, it was entertaining for me. I think Julianne Moore was fantastic in the movie. I think Chloe Grace Moritz, however you say her name, I think she was great in the role, especially towards the end. It didn't drown the movie out with crappy modern music. I will admit that when I saw it on Blu-ray, they had the alternate ending, and the alternate ending was garbage. So don't even waste your time with that. It lived up to what I was expecting. #3.
Something's different.
This is the 75th year of the Hunger Games.
This was my second most anticipated film of the year. I thought it was great. I've never read the books. I kind of started the second one, but I never finished it. But it lived up to the original film. It was exciting. The ending was phenomenal. I didn't expect it to end on a cliffhanger. Just a fun and exciting movie, just like the first film, which I believe was in my top 10 last year. I didn't do a video for that, so you guys wouldn't know that. So yes, great film. We are down to the last two. Now, both these films I saw within a couple weeks of each other. And I had the hardest, very, very hardest time deciding which one was going to be #1 and which one was going to be #2. I did go back and forth switching them around. In fact, right before I did this video, I was thinking about switching them, and I didn't. That being said, #2 is...
Here Comes 2.
Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. He'll never see me cry. Here I stay. Let the storm rage on.
I haven't really enjoyed a Disney film in over 10 years. And I'm talking about Disney animated films. I didn't really care for their turn to 3D animation. I didn't see most of their 3D films. I didn't see Chicken Little. I didn't see Meet the Robinsons. I did see Bolt, which I did enjoy, but it was, just kind of like a popcorn flick for me. I mean, it was just kind of there. I liked it. Tangled, same kind of feeling. A little bit less liking of it. I did not like Princess and the Frog. I saw Tangled in the theater, and before Tangled, I don't think I'd seen a Disney cartoon film in the theater since Emperor's New Groove, which was in 2000. Needless to say, every Disney film that comes out, I'm just kind of like, whatever. I'm done. It's not for me anymore. When Frozen came out, I was kind of like that, but then I started hearing more and more great things about it, and I was kind of like, you know what, I want to see this film. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The animation was fantastic. The story was great. The ending was fabulous. The music was amazing. A great film. It really was reminiscent of the Disney Renaissance, and I even say that it could be part of the Disney Renaissance. Obviously, it can't be, but I mean, it can live up to that. I always hear reviewers be like, the best Disney film since The Lion King, and I heard it for Princess and the Frog. I believe I heard it for Tangled. You just hear it for every Disney movie that comes out nowadays, because The Lion King, in most people's opinion, and my opinion, is the top of the chart, like the best Disney has ever done. So to live up to that is an amazing thing to say. That being said, I finally agree, because I did see Frozen, best film since Lion King. I'd say it's up to par with Lion King. It's amazing. It's such a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see it again. If you haven't seen it, stop this video, go out, see it, come back and watch the rest of the video.
Number one.
My name is Mrs. Travers, Mr. Disney.
Oh, Walt, now you gotta call me Walt.
You think Mary Poppins has come to save the children? Oh, dear.
Mrs. Travers, what am I missing here? So, it's not the children she comes to save. It's their father. It's your father.
A film that I went to see expecting it to be kind of like Hitchcock, where it's just, I love biopics, but I mean, Hitchcock was just kind of like, and I was really expecting it to be like that, and it wasn't. Something about it draws you in. You want to watch it. You want to finish it. And it's kind of like Walk the Line and Ray, where they do these flashbacks to the childhood of P.L. Travers, and going back to then, when they're making the movie and whatnot. I thought it was great, and surprisingly, I thought Tom Hanks would be in the movie more. He's only in the movie for maybe half the film, but great movie, great drama, fantastic drama, great acting. I mean, just a great movie. It is my number one film of 2013. The first one I want to mention is Man of Steel, a film that I personally did not like. I thought it was too long. I thought it was boring. But overall, the film is very well made. They definitely took the story of Superman and went a different way with it. I didn't really care for the whole Christopher Nolan type thing. I know he was a producer, but I didn't really care for the fact that he was... it felt way too much like Batman Begins. In fact, when I walked out of the theater, someone behind me was like, "Will, that was Batman Begins." Yeah, I got it. I'm hoping the next one is going to be better. But it deserves a spot on honorable mentions because it was a well-made film, and it was it took it a different way. Every Superman movie is always the same fucking thing, so it was neat to see it in a different way. My next honorable mention is a film called American Mary, starring Katharine Isabelle. Most of you probably remember Katharine Isabelle from Ginger Snaps, or even from her little part in Freddy vs. Jason. But she's in this film, and it's a film about a college student who is about to be kicked out of college because she doesn't have any money, and she starts taking these surgeon jobs because that's what she's going to school to be, a surgeon, and she kind of gets involved with these shady people doing surgical stuff, and she ends up doing all this surgical, like, she kind of like gets addicted to it and starts doing like the craziest surgical shit you'll ever think of. Like, there's this part in the movie where these twins come in, who are, I think they're twins, they're actually the directors of the movie. They come in and they want they want to feel closer as sisters, so they want to take off their like left arm or right arm and put it on the other sister and vice versa. That's the crazy shit in this movie. It's a really cool, interesting film. So I mean, I suggest you guys go out and see it. I only saw it once, so I mean, I'm sorry for my vague interpretation of the movie, but it was a really good movie, so I think you guys should really check it out. And the last one I'm going to say, and the only reason I'm bringing this one up is because everyone gave it shit, and I want to go into a little bit why. This is The Hangover Part 3. Now, everyone hated The Hangover. I love all of them. I think all three of them are good. I don't care what anybody says. I think most people said the second one was crappy because it was the same thing with different jokes, or the same jokes even, in some cases. So they wanted something different. Alright, so the filmmakers obliged and made Hangover 3, which has no hangover, is a completely different story, and everyone hated it. I've actually seen many people say, "Why is it called Hangover? There's no hangover." Or, the post-credit scene, which was a hangover scene, should have been the whole movie. Really? That's what Part 2 was, and you didn't like it. So they change it, and you don't like it. Fuck you guys. I mean, that's just fucking stupid. The third one, I think, was great because they took it a different direction, just like Man of Steel, and it was just an interesting take on it. And I love how it came back to the first one and kind of turned it on its side. It was a great film. And not a great film, not like the best film ever, but I thought it was a cool little ending to the movie, or the series, and I just don't understand. You can't make anybody happy. We have done the best films, we have done the honorable mentions, now we are going to do the worst films of 2013. I only saw 30-something films, and I couldn't really do a top 10 worst films because I couldn't find 10 films that I didn't like enough to include on a worst of list. I'm just going to give you, I think it's 5 or 6 worst films. We're going to go from there. It's not in any particular order except for the first two. Well, actually, I'll do those last because those are the worst films of the year. First one up I want to mention is The Smurfs 2. Now, a lot of people said this is a bad movie, and it is. But that being said, I'm a Hanna-Barbera fan. I enjoyed the original one. I didn't think they dumbed it down and used too much bathroom humor like a lot of kids' movies are nowadays. That being said, I went to see the second one because the second one seemed like a good story. And Hank Azaria is hilarious as Gargamel, so I think that having him in the movie at all would have been great. So I went to see it, and I walked out, and I was just kind of like, the story was interesting, but it was just a garbage movie. It really was a garbage movie, and it's really sad that that was Jonathan Winter's last film. The Wolverine. I didn't like X-Men Origins Wolverine, so I don't know why the hell I even gave the Wolverine a chance. I like the X-Men movies. I think the X-Men movies, in my opinion, are the best comic book adaptations. Not so much that they're great adaptations, since I'm not a comic book fan, but they're just great comic book movies. That's what I should say. They're the best. They're whatever. Anyway, that being said, we went to see the Wolverine, my brother and I, and all I have to say is it's boring. It's a boring movie. Like, stuff's happening, but it's boring. And even the post-credit scene, the scene that, you know, kind of syncs it up with X-Men Days of Future Past, is boring. It's just stupid. Like, I'm not interested in that movie at all. I don't ever want to see it again. A Good Day to Die Hard. Didn't look good. It wasn't good. I saw it for free. Thank God. Alright, these are the 2 worst films of the year. Number 1. Well, number 2, I should say. The Internship. It looked terrible. But I wanted to watch it anyway, give it a shot. Because I like Vince Vaughn. I like Owen Wilson. And I liked The Wedding Crashers, so I was hoping it was going to be something like that. I watched 45 minutes of this movie, and finally I just said to myself, I haven't laughed once. Not even once. Not even a chuckle. Nothing. No laughing. The movie was terrible. It sucked. The jokes sucked. Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn play the same 2 people they play in every fucking movie they make. Garbage. And finally, Spring Breakers. I have actually seen more than one top 10 list that has Spring Breakers on it. Top 10 best films. So I'm like, this movie must be great. I gotta see this. Went out, rented it, watched it. Don't waste your time. It is a film that is trying too hard to be an art house film. It is a film that is fucking stupid. Okay? I'm gonna point this one thing out, okay? There's a part in the film where these fucking snobby little girls who rob a restaurant so they can go on spring break. Get arrested for drug possession, I believe it is, and they're in court and they're being sentenced to whatever, and James Franco's character just happens to be there. Just happens to be there. In that courtroom. Why? Fucking terrible. Don't watch this movie. I really appreciate everyone who is still watching my channel. I have a feeling that I've lost a lot of people because I don't keep up on these videos, but I really want to try and keep it up. Thank you so much. And please subscribe. I just don't like British humor.